episode of Lie, Cheat, and Steal, the podcast about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. We put out 2 episodes a month for free right here wherever podcasts are listened to. And if you like what you hear, we also do 2 more episodes every month on our Patreon at patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. If you haven't already, please give us a 5-star rating and review on any site that you listen to us on. That always helps get the word out. That being said, welcome aboard. I'm your host, Pat Soroyce. And with me, as always, my co-host, Kath Barbadoro.
Hi, Pat. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm on the road, traveling through the Midwest. I'm in, how did I forget it? We just talked about it in the last episode. Grand Rapids. I'm in Grand Rapids, Cedar Rapids.
Not right. Cedar Rapids. You are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's made a huge impression.
I mean, you just saw a tiny chihuahua in a hotel hallway that did not have an owner. So that's
I did, yeah.
That's exciting. That would make an impression on me.
It did. I think he really spoke for all of Cedar Rapids. I don't know if he was from Cedar Rapids. He might be an out-of-state dog. Who knows?
He probably is if he's in the hotel, but
yeah.
But I don't know. He's there alone, so like maybe he's on a business trip or something.
Yeah. Well, I hope he
maybe he's having an affair, and that's why he's in the hotel. Like he lives in Cedar Rapids, but
that has been. I hear that from people all the time. They work in hotels, and I'm checking into hotels constantly. And I always ask about their deposit because the shit sucks. It's like $100. It takes 5 days to roll off your account. And when you're staying in a new one each night, next thing you know, you're like, you're 5 nights in, you have $400 just in the digital ether. It can get unsettling. So I always ask, and the people bring it up, they're like, a lot of them started doing it to where they only charge you if you have an ID from that town is when you need to pay a deposit.
Oh, and I was because like, they know you're doing something shady.
I thought it was for parties, and I was like, like why else would you know if you're getting a hotel in town, like you're clearly a teenager holding a party, and the lady's like, no, you're cheating on your wife, and there's a chance they might show up here. They're like, that happens all the time.
Whoa, and then they fuck up the room, and wow.
I did not know that was the concern for like the in-city addresses. So I was like,
interesting.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've heard more than one clerk tell me that's the reason why they have these deposits like that. Or if they specify that only for in-town people, it's for the prevalence of affairs. I was like, that's insane.
That's wild. That is, I mean, if you're the hotel person in like a mid-sized kind of small town, you probably know a lot of people's business. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
The hotel was the centerpiece for all the action in that Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow song, you know?
Exactly.
Everyone knew, but they wouldn't tell. and he was just in there drinking cocaine and doing whiskey, or drinking whiskey and doing coke, for the last, 3 damn days?
Yep. That song's great. That's a really good karaoke one. If you have someone if you want to do a karaoke duet, like that'll get people on their feet. People like that.
Yeah. I've done that song as a karaoke duet when it's just a girl who I did not have a second date with.
Did she pick it or did you pick it?
She picked that shit. It was her idea to do karaoke. I don't do
karaoke. You're not a karaoke guy. Karaoke on the first date is intense. That's
a little weird, yeah.
That's a lot.
I hang out with Jake Rowe, who is a karaoke guy. And I just had I don't know if I talked about it on the show. I had like a 2-week obsession with the song. I was at John Parr that I could be your man in motion. Oh, it's called Man in Motion, the theme to St. Elmo's Fire.
Okay.
Weird story.
Good song.
I heard that song when I was working construction back in January. I heard it on the job site and it got stuck in my head. And I was like at the lodge trying to figure out who the fuck sung it. And it was like me and Taylor Downey and Avery. We're all like Shazam. We don't know the words. So we're just like
trying to sing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like finally fucking Taylor got it. And he was like, it's John Parr. And I was like, oh shit. And so we jammed it. And then me and Jake Rowe went to Egos to do karaoke. Nice. And I've been obsessing over that song for 4 days. So the lyrics were burned in my brain. And I was like, fuck it, I'm doing that. And it was so much fun.
Karaoke, I'm a karaoke guy. I think karaoke's great. I have a good time. There's a good show here on Friday nights that after the comedy is over, it's karaoke. And is
it a beauty bar?
No, that one also has karaoke though.
Yeah, because I went there when Blake Majette was still staying in Brooklyn. I stayed at his place and I did the show. I went to the bathroom. I came back out. Karaoke been going on for 5 seconds and Blake was shirtless and singing.
Yeah, yep.
Oh man. So yeah, that's what's going on.
I'm
At
trying to
our
think of a segue, and I really do not have one.
end.
Karaoke is a way to alleviate the pain of living, right?
Oh
Is
yeah,
that a
yeah,
good,
yeah.
is that a
As
good
we just
segue?
covered. Yeah.
This story is also about pain management, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, it's kind of a developing story, so this may be an episode on the short side, but it's pretty wild stuff. And yeah, I think it might piss you off. I'm going to be telling you about something called Stimwave today. Stimwave.
Okay.
I'm assuming you have not heard of this.
I have not. I just but it sounds like one of those like word salads tech companies put together where it's like
Yeah,
Stimwave, and it sounds like I don't know if Stim has anything to do with like brainstem. I would imagine.
Stim.
Oh, so stimulation wave? Is it have to do with stimulation behaviors from autistic people?
It does not,
Oh,
but
okay. Well, then
decent.
I'm gonna
Your
quit
guess, your
guessing.
first guess was actually kind of closer.
Okay.
We're talking about a chronic pain management system. So the stimulation and being involved here is nerve stimulation.
Okay.
So that is what Stimwave is about. So yeah, this company Stimwave, um its website is still up. We'll get into why, but its website is still up, and its slogan is "Picture freedom from chronic pain." And this company it pretends to offer um, pain management without opiates, which is like really the dream of anyone with
Yeah.
chronic pain. Is like, how can I
Yeah.
manage this without going on opiates?
And the nightmare of anyone with an opiate addiction. Like,
Right, like
I don't like that we're moving away from this, guys.
well, like, I mean, the thing that's frustrating about all of this is like opiates work really well for pain
Oh yeah.
management.
Yeah.
They're like there's a reason they were overprescribed because they're fucking great. They're so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, unfortunately they have a tendency to ruin your whole life.
Yeah,
So
there is
that's
that
kind of
whole
the
thing.
downside.
Yeah. But
But
boy, those couple weeks though, when you're first getting started.
not bad. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing is that's why we haven't been able to like move away from them because like they really do work better than anything else to
Yeah.
manage pain.
Not even on opiates, but I know like I'll wake up, like I this morning traveling, saying I'll wake up with some aches and some dings. And it is crazy how you take like 3 Advil and like you just feel it just you stop feeling like a cranky bitch. I love pain medication. Like, it's good.
Well, that's I mean like an Advil or a Tylenol or something like
Yeah,
that.
not opiate.
When
Yeah.
that works for you, it's a miracle. It is a miracle of
Yeah.
modern medicine. But yeah, like if you're a cancer patient or something,
Yeah.
no, you could be swallowing a bottle of ibuprofen, nothing's gonna happen. Like you're
Yep.
not gonna
Yep.
be better. But yeah, so they're like sort of a holy grail in medicine is like how do we help people who are in pain without opiates? And that is what Stimwave wanted to do. So this company was founded in 2010 in Pompano Beach, Florida, which I feel like I I know there are legitimate businesses in Florida, but something about like a medical device company based in Florida just
Yeah.
automatically seems shady to me.
Yeah.
Like,
The legitimate businesses in Florida, you'll never hear about them.
right.
Like if you hear about a business in Florida, already step one that like something wrong happened. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you don't hear anything about solid, reputable Florida businesses. They fly below the radar.
Well, it's also like Florida was a headquarters of like the worst of the crooked pain doctors, like back in the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
those guys are on the fucking there's a documentary about those two guys that had the Florida pain pill fucking mills, essentially.
yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of them. It was like a huge
Yeah.
problem. And then also it's like, it's where all these old people live who need
Ugh.
medicine. Like, it's just like a weird,
Yeah.
I don't know. But,
Yeah, man.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, that was just Florida, just bizarre state. The Bang energy drink guys in Florida, and they're undergoing their own fucking public fall from grace with a huge scam now too.
Oh,
So
man. We'll have to cover that one on another one. I don't know
I've
about the
been thinking
Bang
about that one.
Energy
Yeah,
people.
they like among all things, they said that it could cure mental retardation. Like they
Oh,
use that term.
God.
They use that term on their website.
Based on, yeah, no, I'm gonna go with I have not seen results of that.
Yeah, I drank 2 today. I'm still stupid as shit.
Yeah, I'm not doing any better. Um, but yeah, so they started this company in 2010, and it was they were a medical device company, so they were developing implantable devices to help with pain management. So they're devices that like get implanted near where you have like nerve trouble, and it stimulates the nerves, and it's supposed to like help with pain. Like if you've ever an external version of this, do you know what a TENS unit is? If you've had like back problems or something.
I had my cousin like spiral fractured his arm installing fucking cell phone tower stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so he fucked his shit all up. Like it broke and spiraled outward in the break.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so for like 2 years he wore a little wrist brace that had vibrating plates inside of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I imagine something like that.
A TENS unit is kind of similar. It's like electrostimulation. You put these little pads on and it like contracts the muscles and like stimulates the nerves. So it's sort of like an implantable version of that they're developing. And in 2017, they come out with this product called the StimQ peripheral nerve stimulator. And this is a device that it's very minimally invasive. The little like transmitter receiver thing is like very small. And the big innovation about it is that it's like wireless. So it's like, basically there's like a tiny little thing that stimulates the nerve. Then there's a receiver, which is big, but like still not major surgery to implant. And then there's a patch you wear on the outside on like your clothing. And then you can, manage the like electrical current from like an app, basically is the idea. Word. So, yeah, so this device supposedly enabled the brain to, quote, remap specific pain signals. And it was approved by the FDA in March 2017. They were like, great, sounds good. This whole thing about remapping pain signals, that seems to be borne out by science, that like that is, like this treatment is legitimate for all we know. So yeah, basically they had this system with this thing called a pink stylet, which is a very like sassy, fun, feminine name.
The pink stylet. Yeah,
the pink stylet.
A little clip you can put it on a purse or something, you know?
Right. It sounds so like cute. And it was like a trademark name. Like they did advertising about the pink stylet. So like I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah. Gonna make pain management sexy.
Right. It's like I do feel like part of this thing that was like it was like because you couldn't really tell from like the outside that somebody had one of these. So I think they kind of were going for like a keep it, this is nobody's business. Like you can go on living and people don't know that.
Yeah. The commercial, she's like getting drinks with her homegirls and shit. Like,
exactly. I'm imagining like a tampon commercial basically of it's your little secret, you know? And that, I mean, I obviously this was marketed to anybody who is in pain. But the CEO of this company is a woman. So, girl bossing and
hell yeah.
And her name is Luara Perryman. So yeah, Luara Perryman, she's like in her mid 40s, I think, when she founds it. So like, girl boss,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I love a good girl boss capitalist fucking overlord. Like it's just it's progress, especially this month of all months.
Yeah, exactly. We just passed Women's Day. It's time.
Oh, it's not the whole month? See, I was treating it like
I think it is the whole month as well. Yeah, but there's one day like. I think it's like Women's History Month, and then March 8th is International Women's Day.
Okay. All right.
I believe.
That's what's up. I'm happy for that. Nothing to report.
Let me be clear. I support it. Nothing to add.
Yeah.
So yeah, the pink stylet, it's like this little tiny little thing that touches the nerve. Then there's and this sounds horrible to me, but I guess it's better than a lot of the alternatives. A 9-inch long implantable receiver is the thing that goes in your body.
Boy.
And, yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of like a universally known a lot of thing to go in your body. Kind of like we've all
that's got some like some pull mentally. You're like, oh, 9 inches, huh? All the
right.
way in.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're talking specifically about something 9 inches long going inside of you. Like
yeah, there's a whole genre of humor dedicated to that.
Exactly. Like they couldn't make it like a couple inches longer or a couple inches shorter to make it not like it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Just a real 9 incher. Just a real well, yeah, that's how you tell as a female CEO, you know.
Exactly. That's her prerogative. Good for her. So, and then it gets even more kind of innuendo-y, but yeah, so it's like this the little nerve thing, the implantable receiver, and then there's like a wearable battery that provides this. So basically like the battery communicates with the receiver, which communicates with the nerve stimulator thing.
Okay. All
right. So, and then this is the part that gets like more innuendo-y. Doctors were like, hey, this is really great, but this receiver is too long for some people. It's like, it doesn't... like
not everybody likes it. Not everybody likes it.
No, it's not for everybody. So, like, depending on where the nerve is, like, the receiver would have to be implanted in a different part of your body, and there are some parts of your body, like, you know, if it's in your back or something, they're just, like, it's one thing if it's in your arm, but it's another thing if it's, like, in a weird part of your body or whatever. So they were like, hey, this is really great, but this receiver is like really bulky and it's like kind of intense. So Luara Perryman then she's like, okay, well, we got to like rejigger this a little bit. And she creates a white stylet. So before it was the pink stylet. And she's like, here's the white stylet.
The white one's smaller?
Yeah.
Nice, lady.
So the thing about the white stylet is that it can be cut to any size that you need, which sounds good. However, here is the introduction of fraud into this thing. The idea is that it's an electrical receiver. You can't just cut it into any size. Like, that doesn't make sense. It's not like, because it has to be like encapsulated copper. Like, there's like things that it has to do to conduct electricity. This white stylet, it's literally just a piece of plastic. It's not conductive. It's just fucking fake. It's fake.
Yeah.
She's just like, here's the white stylet, so like you can do this instead of this bigger one. Without, like, literally not, it's like a fucking Barbie shoe. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like
I was trying to think of a worthless piece of plastic as well.
Like, it's a Funko Pop. Like, what else we got?
Hell yeah, it's like a plastic spoon just in your body.
Exactly. So, and the reason for this is that, so the thing that's like extra infuriating about this is like this device, like this nerve stimulator thing, it could theoretically be implanted and work without the receiver. It just wouldn't be as powerful, basically. Like the receiver helps like amplify the current and stuff. But the reason that they didn't do it is because they could bill insurance more if they implanted this receiver. So
shit. So it's just, you're just getting just something in you that doesn't need to be there, so they can just build the insurance.
Yeah, it's like fucking David Cronenberg body horror. Yeah. They're doing surgery on you for profit. Like, so the Stimwave, the original. I don't
know if any of our listeners can relate to this, but if I ever get scammed and the end result of that scam is that I put something in my body under false pretenses, like, I guess that's I would feel really mad.
It's literally invasive, like definitionally invasive.
Just like somebody like hooking up with you based on a lie. That's what it feels like.
So the original Stimwave, the pink stylet thing, for the entire like medical procedure of getting both things implanted, getting the device, like the cost of the device, all that stuff. Medical providers would bill $16,000 to insurance. So this was not cheap. But insurance providers would like cover it, and that's how the Stimwave company would make their money. Um, the like this was Medicare eligible, like people could get this on Medicare, but that was the amount that they would bill. Um, if you had it implanted without the receiver, which again made it less powerful, but did work, they would only be able to bill between $4,000 and $6,000. So
Yeah.
it basically they were like, this isn't profitable enough, so we need to put a useless piece of plastic in people that
Yeah.
doesn't make them feel better. Um,
I'm just glad that we've incentivized this element of the human experience.
right?
Like the idea of needing to care for your body. I'm glad that it is an incentive based business, with lots of structure to make money. That's cool, and the results are always good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit later about like the different types of medical insurance fraud, but like there are just so many ways that companies can fucking rip everybody off, and it's
Yeah.
like it's so bleak. It's really, but it's like it's bleak in an abstract level when it's one thing if it's like, oh, these companies are fucking double billing, or like, if you request an itemized bill for stuff, like often it comes out to so much less than
Yeah.
what they quote you and things like that. That's like bad and evil and dystopian in one way, but it really drives home the point when it's like they're putting plastic in you that doesn't need to be there so that they can make money. And it's
Just
like it's people who are probably like really desperate for solutions,
at that point, if you, yeah, I can imagine they probably not only have been dealing with pain, they may have had negative experiences with opiates in the
Yeah,
past. Like might have been like, oh, I can get my pain management and I can not worry about relapsing on my pain medication. Like that's,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
these aren't people. It's not like an elective procedure. Not that I have anything against like plastic surgery, but it's like it's not somebody being like, y'all want a fat ass. It's somebody who's like, I want to stop hurting. And like
Right.
that's
Like, yeah, it would still be like fucked up if people were doing this kind of thing for elective procedures. Like that
of
would
course,
also be
yeah.
bad. But yeah, when you think about the fact that like you can't really think clearly when you're in pain, like
Yeah.
it's just really hard. Like it's hard enough as it is to deal with chronic pain and like make these kinds of medical decisions and try to manage your treatment and to try to deal with insurance companies and shit. Like I can't even do that on like my best day, let
Yeah.
alone when I'm
Yeah.
like not feeling great?
Oh God, I really like that. When I had that acid, remember when I was up in the city last time I stayed at your place, and I ended up having that acid reflux. That was like bad that one night, but then when I went to my booker's house and he made burgers on the grill, and I've been eating like an asshole the whole week, and I had to go to the emergency room, and it was crazy. And like even when I left, the pain wasn't gone, and I
Yeah.
was just like driving home, and I remember I was like I would just break down, and I'd have to stop every like 20, 30 miles. I'd be like, I'm gonna go to this gas station, and hopefully they got like Maalox or Pepsi or something,
Yeah.
and none of it was working. So I'm just buying these like $7 or $8 a pop little over the counter medications. But I remember going in those places and being so much in pain. They're like, "Hey, sir, how you doing?" You're just like, "Shut the fuck! I can't even talk to you right now. I can
Yeah.
barely get my debit card out." And I can just only imagine if I had that happening all the time, and somebody's like, "Hey, we got this thing. It's a little crazy. It's going to cost your insurance." But
We're
you're like,
implanting a
"Yeah."
9-inch thing into your
Yeah,
body.
yeah. I'm like, well, fuck it already. Just drop my pants. Like, well, not that way, sir. I'm like, oh, okay. Look, whatever you got to do, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, it just like I don't know. It makes it so much worse that it's like people who are already vulnerable. And yeah, I think you're right. I bet this was really attractive to people who not only are struggling with chronic pain, which is bad enough, but also trying to stay sober, which like
Yeah.
again is hard enough even when you don't have a legitimate reason to use opiates. It's
Yeah.
hard. Let alone if you like knowing the thing that like you're addicted to will also objectively like solve your medical
Oh,
problem. Like
yeah.
that sucks.
Oh,
That
God.
really
Yeah.
sucks.
No, that really does.
It's
That's just like a poetic injustice. Holy shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
God, don't get addicted to opiates.
Yeah.
It's
I got,
that's
yeah.
my advice to our listeners.
You take one
Do
thing
not
away from
recommend.
this episode.
But yeah, so this white stylet, she was like, "Oh, great! Don't worry about it. If this one isn't the right size, this white stylet, you can cut it to the size that you need, and it'll work great." Meanwhile, this was completely unconductive, did not improve the pieces of didn't improve the electrical current whatsoever. So Yeah, chronic pain patients were implanted with the dummy pieces of plastic and told it would ease their pain. Thankfully, we're clearly all getting pissed off about this, listeners and me and Pat. Um,
Yeah.
there have been charges brought against the CEO and this company, and they're going to court like next week. A lot of what I have here is from like a press release from the FBI, so like at least this is not happening anymore. Like,
Yeah. That's good, man. Dude, it's just yeah, that's insane. That's like Mingala type shit. It just doesn't like I mean, I don't want to
yeah,
compare things to the Holocaust like in a cheap way, but that's like literally at that point, like you're just saying like somebody's writing off on an executive level, be like, yeah, cut this person up, throw some shit in them, sew them back up, bill them for 16 grand. Like there's not even a medical procedure to discuss. There's no medical benefit to it. It's literally just, hey, how many people can we cut open, shove this in, and sew back up? Like
yeah.
that's what you're dealing. That's what you're. It's like when I talked that last episode about how like that electronics store was like, oh, we don't sell electronics, we sell a $5,000 line of credit.
Right.
That's what it almost feels like. It's like I don't sell little pieces of fucking plastic, man. I sell the operation to put little pieces of plastic inside of you.
Right.
And
Well,
that's just that
I mean,
chilling.
it's also similar to the episode we did about the church that preyed on veterans, where it's like they don't see people as people; they see people as a collection of potential billings. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
that's what's going on. And like to make matters worse, like this was a absolutely a knowing fraud on behalf of Laura Perryman. So like in order to perpetuate this lie that this worked, she oversaw trainings with doctors with this stuff. Um,
Oh
she told
man.
other employees to like vouch for the fact that this worked, even though she absolutely knew that,
Yeah.
like, literally, it's a piece of like, if you know anything about electricity, you don't have to be a surgeon or a pain doctor to understand why this
Yeah.
didn't work. It's a literal piece of plastic. Um, so
Who
yeah,
man? And I wonder where like as a doctor, it's like I mean obviously the medical industry is slotted. There's different types of professions. A surgeon, is he like what to what level are they like? Okay, I'm putting this thing in. These people say this works. My skill is that I can
yeah,
steadily cut you open and sew you back up. It's
yeah.
not my expertise to look at this fucking medical item. It's being sold to me by a reputable dealer who we
Approved
work
by the
with,
FDA.
approved by the FDA. Yeah, what do you? Damn that, and they know that, and that's the level they want to get to. Once they have this box checked, this box checked, and this box checked, no one's gonna do the diligence anymore, or not. No, nobody. Obviously, somebody did, but like a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, okay, my 3 o'clock is I'm putting this fucking Barbie shoe in somebody. All right, I guess that's what I'm doing.
I
Then
guess
I'm
that's
gonna
what
go
they
play
need.
golf.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm unclear about how this came to light. It might just be, yeah, that someone was like, this is plastic, this
Yeah,
can't
I just want
work.
to be like, hey, still hurting.
Yeah. Well,
This shit's
I
still.
mean, that's the other thing that's like, I feel like there's so much potential fraud around pain management in particular, because as we said, people are really desperate for solutions. They're kind of willing to try anything. They're not really able to like make rational decisions when they're in pain. And also, perception of pain is really subjective. Like,
Yeah,
I could totally imagine people going through this procedure and feeling legitimately better, even though there's no medical benefit, just because that's like how perception of pain works. You know, it's like, well, I
yeah.
spent $16,000, so like my brain is not perceiving the pain the same way because I've been told that it should be better. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's like I know like marijuana has pain management skills, but for me, I think it's like a real mental thing. Like I'll smoke weed and I'll be like, okay, my foot hurts, but foot pain ain't that bad or whatever. Like I'll come down, I'll have like a new emotional understanding of the pain.
yeah,
Yeah, where
and
I'm just like, okay, I get it now. But like obviously that has an effect. I'm taking something, like. But I can see, spending all that money, and you're like, yeah, no, it works. It's still a little raw, but I think it's gonna get better, and you give it time.
right, because you want it to, but it's not like a, oh, people with chronic pain, they're making it up. Like
Yeah,
it's way more complicated than that. I feel like like you're saying about your foot, like that's how I feel when I get tattooed, right? Like
yeah,
it is objectively painful, but how much of it I perceive as pain really depends on a lot of context, you know?
yeah,
Um, yeah, so it's just like I feel like it's really hard to get hard data on pain management because it's a lot of times with chronic pain, there isn't like a super identifiable cause. Um, it's just like nerves. Like there's nothing that
Yeah.
they can like put under a microscope and see a lot of the time. It's just like, is this patient reporting pain? So it's an easy thing to sell treatments for that don't work very well, because people
Yeah.
are desperate. And then if there's not data to back it up, they're just like, well, it's hard to get data. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When I was in the hospital in Long Island, I remember I got there and at first they gave me a shot of some like a Vicodin or something like that. It was some kind of like
You were texting me.
uh
You were doing good.
yeah. I was like, well, I fucking feel like Bruno Mars now. I felt great there for a little bit. And I remember they brought me a little meal and they were like, okay, we want to see you keep the food down and then you can go. And I felt so good. I was like, man, I'm gonna somehow impress them with how fast I eat these graham crackers and polish off this juice. It was the weirdest thought. I was like, they're gonna look at me and be like, damn, this dude's good to go.
That guy's awesome. He eats so fast.
And like, so clearly I'm just on pain medication, be like, yeah, it's gonna work. And then I ate it, and as soon as like my stomach had some food in it, and like the pain pill wasn't the only thing in there.
Mhm.
As soon as I had something to offset it, immediately I was like, fuck, and then double over again. Like,
Oh,
and then I asked
man.
for more. Like 2 hours later, I asked if I could possibly get something else, and the lady was like, huh, "I'm not giving you a second dose of that." And she said it real like I was a fucking junkie.
Like, nice try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep my cool. I did snap at that lady. I was like, I'm not a fucking junkie, man. I'm not trying to get. I was like, I just really hurt. And anyways, but yeah, I can only imagine. Also, if you have pain, you may have been conditioned by the medical industry. Like, well, I can complain about it, but they just think I'm on drugs. They're not going to believe me. I know pain is one of those things that gets like swept aside, and it has to do with who's reporting it.
Totally. Yeah.
Like if she told my white male ass, she's like, "You're not getting a second shot." I can only imagine what somebody else might have gone through if they would have even got the first one.
Yeah, I mean, it is like, so that's the thing, like this treatment of pain, which is like a real legitimate medical problem that a lot of people suffer from, is like so conditioned by society in all these different ways. Like my version of that I think about a lot is I'm prone to kidney stones. I get kidney stones sometimes.
Oof.
Yeah, a known incredibly painful thing. Like everybody,
Yeah.
that's like, it's like the stock example of like an extremely physically unpleasant experience.
Yeah.
So like every couple years I'll get one. My uncle has the same condition. Like it's just a thing that like there are things you can do to like make it less
Yeah.
likely, but it's just like if you're prone to developing them. So my
Yeah.
uncle has the same thing. My uncle is the VP of an insurance company. His doctor just gives him a standing prescription of like 5 like oxys that he has all the time.
Oh shit.
When I
yeah.
have a kidney stone, I have to go wait in the ER for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is like it's really painful, but it's also not life-threatening. So like
yeah. So you're not triaged very high.
so like when he gets one, he just goes to his pharmacy. When I get one, it's like an excruciating multi-hour process because it might be better now, but like for a long time I was on Medicaid, and they're like, yeah, they're not giving you that if you're on fucking Medicaid. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. Damn. I remember my ex had gotten a kidney stone one time. It was real bad. And she had to go to the doctor, and like they were like, she was in pain, and they were like, do you drink? And she was just like, socially, which underplayed that. Then they were like, do you use drugs? And she's like, in pain. She goes, no, just marijuana. And they gave her nothing for pain the whole fucking day. And she was like, as soon as I said it, they were like, marijuana. And she was like, fuck me. Like, you're like, oh, I stupidly was honest with my doctor. I'll never do that again.
Ugh. Yeah. It's such a fucking racket. And that's all of the stuff we're talking about is like how these people were able to get away with basically insurance fraud and medical device fraud, like all these different forms of fraud. Cause like, so, this company, Stimwave, like they've been being investigated for a while. They've been undergoing an investigation for a while. They declared bankruptcy in June 2022. And they were basically, their assets were like sold at auction. But they were still like, their assets were sold at auction, and their company got bought for like $40 million. Like it's like still out there, which is so fucking crazy. Like I think they maybe changed the name, but like the initial thing that they invented that did actually purport to work, like they still sell that. Like,
yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, yeah, we've changed the name to Vibe Check. Like
Yeah.
now we're just Vibe Check. So come fuck with us. That is
um,
so crazy, man. We're recording this on the eve of tomorrow. The markets open back up,
yeah,
and
we're
the
recording
whole
this on the weekend between Silicon Valley Bank going down and the markets reopening on Monday. And who fucking knows?
yeah. I hope, but it's just like it's so funny. Everybody in venture capital world on Twitter is just like, oh, you think this is funny? Imagine the company that manages your paycheck going under. Now is it so funny? And it's like, A, it's still objectively funny. B, like, I just like, I don't know. I've spent a lot stuff like this. I hear stories like this, and it's like, guess what, man? I don't have the emotional fucking bandwidth right now to feel sorry for your fucking billionaire bank going under, because I hear stories like this, and I just, oh, you lost millions in venture capital dollars. It's like, I'm trying, and guess what? I cannot give a shit.
Yeah,
I
I mean
don't give a fuck.
it's so funny watching all these libertarians grovel about this shit because
Yeah,
it's just the ultimate principle. I mean, we saw it in the housing crisis. Like, uh, it's privatized gains, socialized losses. When they
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
up, which they always will, because they always assume that they're never going to face consequences, and
yeah,
they're correct. And then as soon as they fuck up, they want us to keep them solvent because they're like, well, we've hoovered up so much of this money that if we go under, you're all fucked too. And it's like,
yeah.
maybe we should stop that from happening. Like, um,
Oh man, yeah, it's disgusting. The ones that I saw where the guy was like, while all this was happening, he bought more shares of Silicon Valley Bank. You see that
tight.
guy?
Love
Yeah,
that.
he was like, he gave the itinerary.
That's
with
some
the full,
Instagram hustle culture mindset. I love that.
he gave the full breakdown of the financial crisis thing. That he was like, he's like, it was like an itinerary. It's like 11 o'clock. Told my wife to move our money out of this. 12:30 this. He's like 11. Bought some more shares of Silicon Valley Bank at what I thought was a great price. And like he later in the itinerary is like, yeah, that was fucking stupid. I lost all that money. But it's like in the middle of all that, this dude was still like, you know what? Let's double down. Let's get some more SVB in here.
I believe in this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like these are the guys that we've just said it's good if we curtail our society to cater to the whims of these people. It's good if we do that. And these are the fucking people we're making these allowances for, who just consistently are like, oh, actually, we're stupid as shit. And
they're so fucking stupid. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's weaponized incompetence or what, because like they do always come out okay. Like I think that's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about like the fact that this company was bought for $40 million is like, if you have enough money ceases to become real and tied to value. Like you just will always have money. But I do have hopefully a slightly happy ending here. So the company went bankrupt. Its assets were sold at auction. It did get hit with a multi-million-dollar fine. So some of its assets were sold to pay the fine. So that's good.
Okay.
They do have a very strict compliance regime that they have to follow now, the people who bought the company. But also this woman who is basically the culprit of this, Luara Perryman, she has been charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, our favorite.
Yep. Big old wire fraud fans here.
And 1 count of healthcare fraud. So these charges can potentially carry up to a 20-year sentence each. So, or no, sorry, wire fraud is 10 years, healthcare fraud is 20 years. So she could get 30.
Could.
And she's in her 50s now. So like that's taken a lot of good years away from her, which is what she fucking deserves.
Yeah.
She deserves to have chronic pain and no fancy pink stylet to deal with.
Yeah. They should just have to put one of those fucking white things in her. Just like that's like off top.
You're full of microplastics now, motherfucker.
Yeah. First of all, you're getting this while we figure out what else to do. You're getting one of these in you. Damn.
So they still owe a couple million, but they're still putting these things in people for $16,000, just not the chunk of plastic, but the other shit. So
you would think that it would be like, hey, you guys can't make money off inserting things in people anymore. Like we're just gonna take you out of that game. You've shown that you can't handle that responsibility.
Yeah.
Like hell, you refuse to blow on a DUI stop, you lose your license for a year. Like there should be something that says you can't be in the business of fiddling all up inside of people anymore. Like you have proven that to be beyond your scope of responsibility.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Damn. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But damn. Well, this is one of the ones we're going to check up on later and see what happens?
Yeah, I'll we'll get an update after the charges. But yeah, I just heard about this the other day and it was blowing my mind. So
damn.
Yeah, that is the story of Stimwave. I again, like, speaking of what happens to regular people, is like, I don't think there's any class action about this. Like, there was a civil complaint and that's where a lot of the fine comes from, I think. But like, yeah, if you got one of these in you should get some fucking money. Like,
yeah,
they should be cutting you a fat check. I don't know if they will, but
yeah, Michael Moore should bring a bus of these guys up to like the company, and they're all just holding their recently removed fucking Stimwave thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, we're trying to return these. Like, damn. Well, thank you so much for putting that together for me, Kat. I'd never even heard about that until today. And
so current event.
Current event. Hell yeah. Well, thank you guys. I hope you guys got something from today's episode. If you liked it, like I said, be sure to go on wherever you're listening this to and go ahead and put on a 5-star review or 5-star rating, or leave us a nice review. If you liked what you saw today and you want more of this, we do 2 more episodes every month on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. We are on the internet. We're at Twitter at LCS Podcast, and we are at Lie, Cheat, and Steal at YouTube. I forget the exact name of our channel, but just type in Lie, Cheat, and Steal to YouTube.
We have a TikTok too, right?
Yeah, we're on TikTok at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast. And we put out previews up there. We put out full episodes. And a lot of times we're getting the episodes up before they come out on our feed on our YouTube. So all you got to do is look at us. Fair enough. You know what I'm saying?
Check us out.
It's like small price to pay. You got to look at us, but you get you get the episode early. So yeah, I'm on Twitter at PZTX, at PEZYTX, also on Instagram. I'm currently on tour. I'm going to be in Kansas, Loveland, Colorado. Then I'm doing New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada, and then all the way back over doing 2 shows in Minneapolis. So come and check out my dates online. And if you're out there, please stop by and see a show. Kath, you got anything for us?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this will be out in time, but I'll be at the Velveeta Room March 24th and 25th.
Yes, you will.
Please come check that out. I'm Kath Barbadoro on social media. I have a link to get tickets to that show in my Twitter bio. So check it out. Thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Well, hopefully, I don't know when you guys are going to be listening to this, but hopefully we'll see what happened over the weekend with the markets opening back up. That should be interesting. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy yourselves out there. Be safe, be smart, but above all, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. See you next time.